All right, guys, welcome on Friday. You get your weekends coming up, so I hope you're looking forward to that. We are still looking at multiplying a whole number by a fraction, but today we are going to start to explore a fraction by a fraction. So we're going to be looking at this today, exploring this to see if we can figure out exactly what we are going to be solving. So I am on page 19. Today, I'm going to be looking at these first two questions here with you. And then you're going to be looking at questions 3 through 6 with your teacher and independently on your own. All right, let's go and take a second to get that out. We're looking at page 19. All right, let's take a look at question number 1. So as you notice here, I've got a question and I've got two different models, two different questions that it's asking me about my scenario here. So it's important for me really carefully and to answer both of the questions of what they're asking me to do. It says Tommy's dog, Paco, eats 2/3 of a cup of food each time he's fed. So whenever he's fed, he eats 2/3 of a cup. Normally, Tommy feeds Paco 3 times a day, and Paco eats all his food. Okay, so he eats 2/3 of a cup of food each time, and he eats 3 times a day. How many, question A says, how many cups of food does Paco eat in 2 days? 2 days. Okay, so let's think about this. So in 1 day, he eats 3 meals and 2/3 for each meal. So let's draw this out. So let's say I've got 2/3, and that's going to be breakfast. 2/3, that's going to be lunch. And 2/3, that's going to be dinner. Okay, but it does 2 days. So it says that he eats in 2 days. How much does he eat? So I need to add that up again. So he's going to get breakfast again. We'll call this B2. Lunch again. And dinner again. That's my 2 days. So here's day 1. And here's day 2, just to show you I've got my 2 different days, adding 2/3 up 6 times, right? So my actual equation here that I'm actually trying to solve is 6 times 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to add this up together. I have the 3's going to stay on bottom because 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. I'm going to add my 2's up. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 12. 12/3. Now, that's a right answer. That is correct, but it's improper. My bigger number's on top. So let's try to solve my improper fraction by asking myself, how many times can 3 go into 12? So skip count by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. 4 times. So I know that Paco eats 4 cups of food. 4 cups of food over 2 days. My second question, though, says, how many cups of food does Paco eat in 1 day? In 1 day, how much does he eat? I can do a couple different ways to solve this. If this is 2 days, I could do 3 times 2/3 to show how much he does in 1 day. Okay, so in 1 day, if I do this, I can do the same thing, repeated addition, or I'm going to try a different method just to show you. I'm going to put my 1 underneath and do my 3 times 2 is 6, and my 1 times 3 is 3. How many times can 3 go into 6? 3, 6, 2 times. 2 cups in 1 day. Or another way that I could have solved this one is taken my 4 cups and said, wait, something plus something has to equal 4 because it's 2 days. Oh, wait, 2 plus 2 equals 4, so 2 cups in 1 day. Okay, so I know how much he ate in 2 days and now how much he eats in 1 day. Now we're going to try something a little bit different here on question 2. So I'm going to give you a second. You need to pause this and talk with your class. You can talk with this to your class to make sure that everyone's good. But we're going to look at now a fraction times a fraction now in example number 2. So go ahead and pause now if you need to go over this and pause. All right, so question number 2, let's see how this is a little bit different. It says that Tommy puts food in Paco's bowl first thing in the morning, so it's breakfast meal. But Paco isn't very hungry, it only eats half of the food. So let's think about, once again, okay, wait, how much does Paco get? Let's go back up again. Let's see here, that Paco gets 2/3 every meal. So Tommy wakes up, he comes downstairs, he gives Paco his 2/3, but this time he only eats half of it. So how am I going to be able to split my 2/3 in half? Is I'm going to multiply by 1/2. Because he only eats half. If he ate the whole thing, it'd be times 1, and I know that it would equal 2/3, but I'm multiplying by 1/2. So let's think about this for a second. Let's go back to last week. When I multiply a whole number by a fraction, it makes my whole number smaller. When I multiply a fraction by a fraction, it's going to really make my number smaller because both of these numbers are less than 1 whole. This is less than a whole, and this is less than a whole. So let's think about this for a second. When I multiply, I'm going to do my top numbers and then multiply my bottom numbers. So 2 times 1 is 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. So he's going to eat 2/6 of his cup of food. However, my question says, did he eat more or less than 2/3? So is 2/6 bigger or smaller than 2/3? So I'm going to compare these two fractions with some fraction strips. So you can draw a rectangle. Split your rectangle into 2 pieces. And I'm going to break my first rectangle into thirds. And shade 2 of them. There's 2/3. I'm going to split my second rectangle into 6ths. So there's 3. And then each of those in half. And I'm going to shade 2 of them. So what can you tell? What do you notice about 2/3 and 2/6? Now, some of you might have already known this before we even did this chart to show, but 2/3 is greater than 2/6. So I know, so did he eat more or less than 2/3? He ate less. Look at this red right here. This is less than 2/3. So 2/6 is less than 2/3. That's my question's asking me, did he eat more or less? And I can circle here less than 2/3. That's how much that he ate. And the nice thing about B is I've already solved it. I already did that in part A to solve for my answer, so I can just put what I already have. How much of a cup of food did he eat? Use a model to support your answer. He ate 2/6 of a cup. And my model to show that, oh, that didn't show up, hold on. My model to show that right here is what I just did by multiplying my fraction times a fraction. So when I multiply my two fractions together, I'm going to put them right by side, just like this, multiply. The top numbers get multiplied together. The bottom numbers get multiplied together. I find my answer. And if I'm comparing it with another fraction, I can draw it just like this to show my comparison. So I know that half of 2/3 is equal to 2/6. Right, so you're gonna now take a look. You're gonna do numbers 3 and 4 with your teacher. They're gonna go along and walk you through 3 and 4, and then you're gonna do 5 and 6 independently. So that's on page 20. You're gonna see numbers 3 and 4, and on page 21, you're gonna see page numbers 5 and 6. So look at those questions carefully and see if you can understand what is the question asking you to solve. I'll keep this right here. I'll zoom out so you can see the whole thing. If you need to pause the video so you can see this entire page what we went through. Okay, get that math done, guys. Enjoy your weekend.